people, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be telling you guys what it's like working as a ride operator. If you're new here, hi, my name is Zoe, welcome to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. I would love to get to 1,500 subscribers. It's like my next kind of big milestone, and I am quite far away from that number, but I know that we can get there one day. So if you want to join my hashtag onion ring crew, you don't have to like onion rings to join my onion ring crew, but if you want to just become part of my little family, then hit the subscribe button. So I get asked all the time, what is it like working as a ride operator? What is it like working in a theme park? And I thought I would just sit down and talk about it, but talk about it like properly in detail, because I have mentioned it a few times in some videos. I've talked to friends about it. I've done a ride operator Q&A, but I'm not very happy with that Q&A. I'm kind of tempted to put it on private, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not the most happy with that video. I feel like I didn't explain things properly, and this I'm going to be taking it like step by step by step. So this is going to be part one, because I have worked at a theme park called Gulliver's Kingdom in Matlock Bath for 2 years now. If I go back next season, which I'm really hoping that I do, that'll be my third season there. So this video is going to be about my first year there, which was in 2019, and then the video coming out on Friday at 4 PM is going to be about my season for 2020, because it has been like so different because of like COVID and everything, and I thought it would just be easier to do it as two separate videos, because I love to ramble on for so long, so it just makes it a little bit easier. I also just think it's kind of coming to that time where people are starting, well, like mainly ride operators are starting to oh, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I feel like it's coming to that time where ride operators are deciding whether to go back to, say, like Alton Towers or Drayton Manor or wherever, or whether they want to go to a different theme park, or whether they just want to go down a whole new path. So hopefully these two videos will help you out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start with the applying process, because this was a little bit of a nightmare for me. So I actually applied 3 times before I finally got an interview at Gulliver's Kingdom. And before I applied, I thought, right, okay, I need to actually, you know, think about this properly. Is it really what I want to do? I mean, that didn't take very long for me to answer, because I've always wanted to be a ride operator. It's always been my dream job. So that was easy, but you know, I kind of did have to think about it a little bit. So I thought about that. I thought about travel. So for me, I live in Derby, and Matlock Bath is around 45 minutes away, so it really isn't that far. Train is only like 20 minutes, so it's actually quicker to go by train than it is by car. And I can also get the bus as well, and when I finally learn to drive, I can drive myself there. My dad drives me there, so travel wasn't an issue for me. So the first time I applied, I think, was August 2018, because I had left college in June, I want to say. I think it was June in 2018. And I didn't want to go to university. I was so happy that I left college, because education just wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy college, I didn't enjoy school. University was definitely off the cards. I saw that Gulliver's Kingdom had a few jobs going for the summer, so I was like, I'll just apply, see what happens. I applied. I didn't hear anything back from them, nothing came of it, so I left it for a little bit. And then I applied in September, I think. I left it a few weeks, and then I actually, no, I didn't apply. I think I just went on their website and I emailed them. So I emailed them over my CV. Again, it didn't hear anything back, so I was like, oh, like, that's it, I'll just give up, like, I'll just try and find something else. And then it came to, oh my gosh, I can't remember. I think it was like January or like really early February. I think it was January actually, like late January. In 2019, and I saw that they had a job application thing open on Indeed, so I was like, right, I'm gonna try again. Third time lucky. It's the beginning of the season, so they might actually give me a chance, and I applied, and thankfully something actually came out of it. Okay, so the interview and travel process. So for my interview, I got the call like 2 or 3 days later after I had applied. I saw the phone number come up on my phone, and I was like, in it said Matlock, and I was like, surely not, like surely this isn't real. And thank God I answered, because I personally hate phone calls. I just find them so awkward. I get really anxious. When the phone rang, I was like, oh my God, do I answer? Do I not answer? But I think something just kind of forced me to answer, because it said Matlock, and I was like, well, surely the only place from Matlock that can ring me is Gulliver's Kingdom. So I answered it, and my boss answered. My boss was on the other end of the phone, and she was like, hi, is this Zoe? And I was like, yeah, it's Zoe. She was like, I've just been reading your CV. I'd like to call you in for an interview and whatever. So we arranged like interview times and like the day and whatever. And then I had an interview like secured, ready to go, and I was so excited, but I was so nervous at the same time. I went kind of smart cash. I just wore like a black top with like a zip, black leggings, black shoes. Like I went in kind of all black, so I kind of looked like I was going to a funeral, but that was kind of just my interview outfit at the time. So all interviews at different theme parks are going to be different. Like they're not all going to be the same. Like every process at a theme park is completely different. But my personal experience of the interview was so amazing. I spoke to my boss slash manager, and she was so lovely, and like she is a lovely person. Now I've worked with her for like 2 years. Like she is so lovely and so like understanding, and she interviewed me, and it was more of just a casual chat rather than an interview, which I wasn't really expecting. I was expecting it to be really sort of like formal, and I was expecting to speak to like 5 different people and whatever, but it was literally just me and her. We sat in a conference room. There was like loads of pretty fairy lights on the ceiling and whatever. Like it was really nice and really relaxed and calm, and it helped me so much, because the fact that we were in that room with like all the fairy lights, and she was so like understanding and like offering drinks and whatever, it made me feel so much more calmer. And we just had a casual chat. She did ask a few sort of formal questions like, what's your work experience? And I can't remember what other questions she asked me. She asked me which department I wanted to work in, because when you go to a theme park there is so much that goes into it. So there's like the catering department, entertainment, hotel, like whatever, there's so many. And I was like, rides, like I want to do rides and nothing else. So after my interview, when I was like leaving and stuff, she was like, oh, we'll give you a call in a few days to let you know like whether you've been successful. And then she was kind of like, you have been successful. And I was like, I thought she was just joking, because obviously I didn't know the sort of vibe, I didn't know what everyone was like and everything. I didn't know what was a joke and what wasn't a joke. So yeah, she kind of kept on hinting at the fact that I had already got the job, but it kind of felt too good to be true, and like I didn't want to believe it. I think it was like, honestly, 3 or 4 days later. It really wasn't like a long wait at all. It was around like 11 o'clock. I'd kind of just woken up. I was still in bed, and this was in like February, I think, like the beginning of February. And my phone rang and it said Matlock, and I was like, no way. But I still didn't want to get like excited or anything. So I answered it, and I was kind of just expecting her to say, oh, like, thanks for your application, but you know, you're not right for us and whatever. I was just expecting those words to come out of her mouth. But I can't remember like exactly what she said. But I think she just said, I'm just ringing to let you know that you have been successful and like you have got the job and whatever. And I literally like screamed down the phone. I started crying, like I was so happy. But at the same time, I didn't want to get too excited just in case it didn't work out. I have had jobs in the past, or just like, you know, trial days and whatever, and they really haven't sort of worked out for me, and they haven't quite gone to plan, and I've hated them so much, and I've ended up just like quitting that job, or they haven't took me back, and like whatever. I've just hated those experiences so much. And I think at the time, because those experiences were still quite new and like quite fresh, I didn't want to get too excited about this job, because I was like, well, it might not work out, I might not even like it, what if I've made the completely wrong decision? So it was weird, because one part of me was so excited, and then the other part of me had like a bit of doubt there. So around 2-3 weeks later was the induction days, and this was held on a Saturday and a Sunday. Induction days are long and boring, and they take a lot of time and a lot of effort, but they are worth it in the end, because it kind of means that your job is like secured there, and you get to meet like so many new people and whatever. Like it's all just very exciting. I can't really remember much of the induction days. We had like a presentation, we got told information about the park, about like the history of the park, watched a few videos, there was a few like team working exercises and whatever. So after the induction days, the next weekend after that was the training days, and that was also held on a Saturday and a Sunday, but I was only needed for the Saturday because I did all of the training that I had to do at the time on the Saturday. So on the Saturday, what did I even do? I can't remember. And then we all got split off into different groups with like different managers. So some people went to like the monorail, some people went to the log coaster, like we all went to different areas of the park, all went to different rides. I got put with 4 other people, I believe, and then one of my actual like favourite managers at the time, he doesn't work there anymore, but he was a really nice manager. Yeah, so I got put with the group that went to the pirate ship. We all got trained on the pirate ship, and I was actually so like lucky and so thankful, because this was before like Zip Zag was put there. This was before I kind of wanted to branch out a little bit more, and the one ride that I really wanted to do was the pirate ship, and I didn't say that to them, I didn't mention anything about it, and the universe really had my back, and I got trained on the pirate ship, which I was so happy about. The training lasted 3 hours, I think. It was like 3 or 4 hours, because you have to do training, then you have to do an assessment, and there's so much that goes into it, and we all got to ride it as well, which was really exciting. And yeah, it was just very relaxed, and like everyone had a go, got to ride it as many times as we liked. And then they have a sort of indoor thing, it's kind of like a play area type thing, with 3 like tiny, and I mean like tiny, rides, and it's called the Party House. So they have a mini drop tower, like this ladybug ride, and then this like fish ride, which is very similar to the ladybug ride. It just like goes around in a circle, and like that's it. And I got trained in there as well, and that was also another 3 hours of training. So after the pirate ship training, we had lunch for half an hour, I think it was, and then I got put into a separate group, like a different group of people, and we got trained in the Party House. I should also mention that there is a really good mixture of young people, middle-aged people, quite older people that work at Gulliver's Kingdom. I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of expected sort of young, maybe middle-aged people to be working there, but I was quite surprised because there is a really good mix. You can actually start working there like as soon as you turn 16, which I didn't realise at all. I thought you'd have to be 18 and over, but you actually don't, and because some of the smaller rides like the carousel and some other, like the Party House I think as well, you have to be 16 to operate them, and I thought it was 18. It's 16, and like all of the different rides have different like ages, like the chairlift is 20, pirate ship is 18 and whatever. I was 18 at the time. So yeah, but they kind of said that in training and induction and whatever, and I was like, oh, if I knew that, I would have applied like 2 years ago. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because I feel like at the time I'd like grown up a lot more, and I was ready to go into a job at that point. Like I feel like as soon as I left college, like I wasn't ready to go into work, and like I was too scared, and yeah, I feel like I wasn't in the right mentality, like the right headspace and whatever. Like I had so much like going on personally, like in my family and whatever. And the end of 2018 and like beginning of 2019 was like quite an upsetting time, so I didn't feel ready to go into a job. And also at this time as well, I was going through something that like really like upsets me, and is like very heartbreaking and whatever. And I don't know, this job kind of saved me in a way because of what I was going through, and it just took like every single time I went into like the induction and training, and like when I started working and whatever, it kind of saved me because it took my mind off it all and it distracted me. So after the training weekend came the opening weekend, and I was so nervous for this. So yeah, on the opening weekend, the opening times was 10:30 until 5 p.m, and I got put on the pirate ship for both the Saturday and the Sunday. Gulliver's Kingdom is only open on weekends and school holidays. It's not like Alton Towers where it's open sort of pretty much every day. Like this is limited to weekends and school holidays, which I really liked. I kind of liked that, and I still do like it because it gives me a lot of freedom. So it means I can still go on holidays, I can go to theme parks. Like it gives me so much freedom. So after the opening weekend, my main ride was the pirate ship. Like I was put on there pretty much every single day. You can get me a new camera for Christmas.
Get lost.
My brother asked me to film this, so there you go. Are you get me Final Cut Pro?
No.
So I can't remember what I was saying at all because my brother came in and interrupted me, and we were speaking for a little bit. But I think it was saying the fact that I always got put on the pirate ship, and I got put in the party house a few times, but I was mainly on the pirate ship. And I didn't mind that. I liked being on there, like I was happy on there and whatever. The pirate ship kind of felt like my baby, and it felt like my ride because I was like constantly on there. And then a few weeks after opening weekend, I got told that I was going to be trained on the log coaster, which is the only roller coaster that they have on park. It was a little bit of a challenge because that is kind of a bit of a step up from operating the pirate ship, because you have to like manually brake it when it comes into the station. It is an absolute pain to operate in the rain. Like, oh my gosh, so much more goes into it. So it was a nice like challenge for me, and I really enjoyed operating the log coaster at the time. I don't enjoy it as much anymore because it is such a pain to operate, but at the time I liked having something new. I liked having the challenge. And then a few weeks after I got trained on the log coaster, I then also got trained on the magic bikes, which is like a little flat ride, and then the carousel. And I spent all day just on those two rides. I got trained on the carousel, and then like in the morning, and then in the afternoon I got trained on the magic bikes, and then I was also able to have my assessment on the magic bikes as well on the same day, which I really liked because it meant after that day I was like officially trained on magic bikes, so they could put me on that ride and like I would be fine with it. And then a few weeks after that, they had installed a brand new ride called the Zip Zag, and this is basically a zip wire where you get harnessed up. It's like a full body harness, and then you get attached like onto the back of the harness. You have like 2 clips, then you have to like run, walk, do whatever, go up this hill, and then literally just like jump off the edge or just like step off the edge. You can do whatever you want basically. And it's kind of like it's like a zip coaster basically. I hadn't really thought about it. They were just like, does anyone else want to be trained on Zip Zag? And I was like, why not? So I put my hand up for it. So my training on Zip Zag, I think, kind of changed my life a little bit, and it changed my experience at Gulliver's so much, and it is the best decision I have ever made, because I was a bit skeptical and I was a bit like, is it something that I really want to do? Am I really going to enjoy it? Like, I've never had any experience with harnesses before. I've never done any like climbing stuff and like whatever. Like, this really is out of my comfort zone. But I just wanted something new. I wanted a challenge, and I am so glad that I did it. So we had a like harness school thing that we have to attend every year when we get sort of like retrained. You have to go to a harness school, and that is basically just, it's not really a school, you're just like sat in a room. They tell us all of the information that we need to know about harnesses. We have to do this like quiz thing, like paperwork and whatever. It was hard work, and it did take me quite a few weeks to get used to the harnesses and everything, because I had never really come across anything like that before. I didn't really know what I was doing, and with stuff like that, if you've not had experience, it takes a lot of practice, and practice just makes perfect. And I mean, I passed my assessment, so like I was fine with it, but it's the harnesses that I really struggled with most of the time, because I was like, I literally, every time I picked it up, I was like, I didn't know which way it went, I didn't know whether it's inside out or not or whatever. But yeah, like you do get used to it after a few weeks, and now I literally like have nightmares about harnesses. Like, I know them back to front, like, you know, I know anything that there is to know about harnesses. So it wasn't until sort of end of August, beginning of September, until I actually started to make like proper friends. Like, I sort of would know people, and like, you know, every time you pass someone you say hi to them, or like you speak to them in the staff room and whatever, but I never really made sort of friends, if that makes sense, until I got trained on zigzag, because that is when I met Bryony, who is like one of my best friends now. Like, I love her so much. And it's when I met Jake, and yeah, like I just made, and you get closer with the managers as well, because they can like come and help you on there, because it gets so busy, they'll come and help us out as well. So you get a lot closer like with the managers, and you just form closer friendships and relationships and whatever, and it's really nice. So yeah, that was really fun. And then for the rest of the season, I was basically put on zigzag because we were so short staffed for it. So I was put on there, and I really liked it, I really enjoyed it. And then by that point I was like, I think zigzag is like my new baby. Like, I didn't want to do anything else but zigzag, because I think I just enjoyed working with other people, because when you're on stuff like pirate ship and carousel and whatever, like you're on your own, like you're not doing it with anyone else, and so it can get quite lonely at times. Whereas on this, like, it requires teamwork, you're always working with other people. And then in October I got trained on the Crow's Nest, which is our high ropes course, and this was a tiny bit pointless because it was literally October half term, and then we were closed for the season, and I got trained on it like the week before October half term. But they were like, does anyone want to be trained on it? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I love doing zigzag, I love anything to do with harnesses now, so get me on Crow's Nest. And I had my training for that. The training for that was 3 days. So the first day was just like theory, and it was like paperwork and whatever. The first day was quite boring, and it was a lot to take in. Like, there is a lot of information that you need to know. And then on the second and third day we were actually out and on the Crow's Nest. We mainly just got taught an emergency takedown. So basically it means if someone is like on the Crow's Nest and they're all harnessed up, they're all clipped on and whatever, and then they faint or something happens to them and they can't get down the stairs, they have no way of getting off the Crow's Nest, you need to know how to get them off, basically. So the training was basically just emergency takedowns and doing that over and over and over and over and over again. So yes, it was a lot of hard work, and it required a lot of patience and a lot of concentration and a lot of effort. But I got the hang of it in the end, and it's kind of like zigzag, like practice makes perfect. And like the people that I was working with, you know, they were like really supportive, and we all just like helped each other out, and it was really fun because of the people that we were with. And then at the end of it, you get given it's kind of like an exam. You get given a written test. You have to pass that written test to be able to go on Crow's Nest, and I got my results back, and I passed my test, which I'm so happy about because I put so much pressure on myself to make sure that I pass. I didn't want to have to go through all of that training to just fail in the end. I was only on there for like 2 or 3 days because it was October half term. I was on there for 2 or 3 days. I really enjoyed it, and then I was on zigzag for like the remainder of the days. And then that was basically it. That was the first, well, that was my first season at Gulliver's Kingdom completed. But yeah, I think I've pretty much covered everything. If you guys have any other questions, then please do comment them down below or message me, or I might do like another Q&A. Don't forget to check out Friday's video. It will go out at 4 PM, and that is going to be about my 2020 season, working there, because it was completely different than 2019, obviously. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you guys on Friday for part 2 of this video. Mwah. Bye!